Smash Factor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness. How about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. Man, that is beyond long.
Look at this. He's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody to the Smash Factor Week 18 on the 2022-2023 PGA Tour. The Arnold Palmer Invitational should be it's an elevated event this year. Should be another terrific tournament. It was a great one last week on many levels. We hit the Chris Kirk win, so that was good. Been a little while since we got a winner. Had some first round leaders, things like that. But I think my last, I guess I had Homa at the Farmers, so that I mean. A little bit of run here. I think Tom Kim at Shriners back in the fall. So see if we can get on a little momentum going here. Fun event. Fun. I always like the Honda. I like the endings. I think almost all of them have been come down to the, very final hole in some way, shape, or form since I've kind of been going to them. Couldn't go this year with the passing of the father-in-law and stuff. Had to cancel the trip, but I'll be back next year. Sound like maybe potentially we get a little elevated event here. Maybe you've heard whispers of match play considered. Sounds like they're going to move that from Austin. Don't know if that's where it goes here or not. I guess the only thing I would think about match play would be I wonder if they would start on 11 to be number one, since some of those matches end early. You'd want to get that bear trap in 18 to be everybody almost play that. But neither here nor there. Last week, great showdown week. Had a really, really good round two. Round four was my worst one. Like it may be my worst one in a long time. I just didn't have any of it put together right. But up until that point, a good week, good enough week, good enough round two to cover the whole week plus some. Made plenty of profit. The pool was great for main slate. Like I kept looking at it. Outside of Dietrich, I still had almost 80% of my pool make the cut. And again, what was, I think 6 to 6 was like, I don't know, what, 5-10%, something like that last week. Pool was solid. Dietrich hurt, especially I had him in some 3-max stuff. All three of my 3-max stuff went 5-6, 5-6, 5-6. But still was able to profit a little bit. I got one of the 5-6s through the cash. The MME stuff lost a little bit at the end. Had runners all day Saturday, Sunday still. Thought we had some chances to get up there. At one point we're getting close to the end of the front nine Sunday, and my guys were in first, fourth, 15th, 24th. So all 6 were inside the top 25, and boy, some of them had some bad bear trap experiences. Just kind of fell apart. Is what it is. That stuff happens, but a profitable week. Did we get the betting? I need to grade the matchups, but the Kirk bet definitely gave us profit for the week, 35-1. Some shout outs. We had Dank, 2005. He also won the Listener League. We'll get there in a second, but took down some other stuff. Big week for him. Kingway Neo hits for 4,000 in a tournament. A third place finish there. Great lineup. Laser 1064 takes down the 2K dime time. That was awesome to see. Chucky T 79 wins the Mayo. That was 5,000, and hopefully, I think it's 5,000, and then hopefully he had that elsewhere. He was in the Slack Sunday evening sharing that stuff. So all good hits there. Great week all the way around. Let's run it again back here at the API. If you'd like to join us, 20% off any package, includes a 7-day risk-free trial. That percentage is locked in for life as long as you remain a member. You can get our content-only packages. So if you don't do the lineup, optimizing the golf tools, research, all that stuff, NFL tools, you don't want all that. If you basically just want Slack and read all the content, you can get that annually for $12 a month is what it comes out to with that 20% off. If you do want the tools and the lineup builder and all that, same code gets you annually. It'll get you about $23 a month. You can try us out weekly, monthly. Upgrade, the code stays with you. If you upgrade, you come in, you like it, however you want to do that. We will be, looks like we're on pace to do our soft launch, first soft launch of kind of our updated, enhanced, complete golf tools dashboard for the players. Then we'll continue adding and building on to it, the new version, all the way leading up. Hopefully have it, well, for sure, I think have everything done by the Masters, but soft launch that hopefully later on this week, actually, because we'll have pricing. Generally, the players in the majors, they get them out maybe Thursday, but for sure by Friday. They've been getting them out early. And then they'll add whoever gets in later. Rate and review us on iTunes. We'll be doing some giveaways next week for the players. And then certainly the Masters. I'll now announce the March to the Masters promo stuff going on after the players. The week after the players, we'll start that. Subscribe and like this video on YouTube. Those get you into the free drawings as well. Tell me who you want to play in the 9K range this week. I think this will be a key range. Who's your favorite play there? I think we got eight guys in there, only 3 in the 10K, kind of spaced out up top. And then Listener League is in the description. 250 this week. Let's fill it quickly and keep building for the players and all that. If we can't get them filled, then we just move on and not do them. I know there's a lot out there, a lot of the listener leagues, but if you are listening and you want to keep rolling with them, click that link, get that thing full, see if we can get it up to 300 or 350 for the players next week. Last week's winner, like I mentioned in Slack, it's Dank 2005. I think it's Dank and Ball 42 is his DK handle. 504 points. Had Kirk, Pendrith, Vegas, Griffin, SH Kim, and Cole. So a lot of guys I was on. I just didn't have as good a combination as he did. Great lineup. Kirk got it done for him, and Cole having him there right there at the end. Vegas with a big run on Sunday made a lot of people money, which you need that sometimes. And we can see that especially at Honda when guys get out early. You're not going to see a ton of scoring overall, especially as it gets later in the day. And so when you get an early guy that can, I remember Palmer did it for us a few years ago, get you a nice 6-7 under round, kind of really boost those teams that you may have in the hunt. This week we're at Bay Hill. Is an invitational. And as far as I've seen so far, it's going to be like traditional invitational. Like Genesis they bumped up the pool. I think we're at 120 this week, and I don't think that's really changing. So technically, you should see a little bit better 6 of 6s because 65 out of 120. But this is an extremely hard course, extremely tough cut. One or two of these guys miss, which can happen, just like last week. Anybody, no one's real safe from here. You can see super low 6 of 6s anyways, regardless. And we got some weather to look at. We'll talk about that in a second. Still top 65 in ties. Par 72, 7,450 yards. 4 par 3s, 4 par 5s. Par 5s are going to be the key this week. They're reachable in most cases. That's where you're going to score. Got to score well in the par 5s or you won't be there come Sunday. Bermuda greens, it'll be fast and firm. Looks like it's fast and firm. I see a little tiny bit of rain potential Sunday morning, but majority of the tournament, it's hot. It's gonna be 90. Some winds. It should play as hard as they want it to play this week. I think you can bomb it. We've seen the Bryson attempt there, but you could club down and give yourself. If you had great iron play, you can do it that way too. I think you can do it multiple ways here. Biggest key, especially, the last several years is the fairways, premium for you this week. You don't want to be hitting out of this rough. And then, probably last 3 or 4 years, they shaved off a lot more around the green than we used to see. And that's led to some higher scoring as well. So, and then in general, like my notes, when I go back to 3 or 4, 6 years, the windier it gets, the more the water comes into play, and that's why we see those higher scores at times. We've seen 4 under win it. The Hatton year, it was pretty windy last year. Scotty won it at 5 under. So I think we're closer to that than like a 12 under this week. Going to be another grinded out type week. Last week the Honda played tough, but there was no wind, so it played almost as easy as it could for the Honda. This week looks like it's going to play tough, and we're going to get a day and a half, maybe 2 full days of pretty strong, good winds to make this thing tough. Like I said, warm and windy or warm and sunny. Friday's kind of that day we're looking at to see, is it going to be consistent? Is it going to be a wave break? Being 120 guys in Invitational, this is early Tuesday morning. I'm going to go on with Travis Fulton after this on his pod, but probably by the time I release this at lunch, we should have the tee times, but they'll probably be a lot more bunched than normal. So I don't know if it's going to be, as much of a wave advantage as more of the stronger it plays Friday and all that kind of stuff. Who do you think can grind it out? That type of situation. We may get a little bit of a pocket where guys have the less wind for 2 or 3 hours, and that's enough to take advantage Friday morning. Starts dying back off late Friday afternoon, evening, and then but it's pretty decent Saturday as well. We don't really care about Saturday too much. The only reason why we would see a delay here, I guess, is if it truly got hard enough that they couldn't hold the balls on the green. There's not going to be any rain or anything, but who knows? We'll see how that happens. Probably, I released some bets last night, and I'll probably be it until I get as late as I can into tomorrow. With the weather updates, especially building lineups, all that kind of stuff, you always want to get the latest as you can. It'll tee off super early Saturday or Thursday morning, so not a lot of time to tinker, but we can wait as long as we want Wednesday before locking in any type of wave advantage, stuff like that. Again, right now, because of the way I think the tee times may roll, if there is an advantage, I think it's going to be small, just because it looks so consistent right now. It doesn't look like it's just going to pick up all Friday afternoon or something, but we'll see. Definitely monitor that as we get into tomorrow. Tomorrow night, Kenny, Kim, and I will talk through it on E9 as well. I see the cut around +3. Probably anywhere from +2 to +4, but kind of +3 sounds good. Winner, I think you're probably going to be 7, 8, 9 type number. I don't think we see double digits. Sunday looks maybe the best of the whole week. Thursday doesn't look bad either, but as far as consistent wins, and maybe they get a little bit of rain Sunday morning, so soften up just a hair. So you could see a little bit of scoring Sunday, but before that, I think it's going to be pretty tough. And so I think 8 under, you're probably sitting there with a good chance to win this come Sunday. Some past winners here: Scheffler, Bryson, Hatton, Rory, Day, Leishman. Tiger won it 8 times. Matt Every won it back-to-back. Some runner-ups: Hatton, Hovland, Leishman, Fitz, Bryson, Rose. So you've seen some of the similar names coming about there. But I think different types can certainly win it depending on what their strength is going into the week. Stats I'm looking at: good drives, stroke gain irons, bogey avoidance, par 5 DK scoring, opportunities inside 18 feet, accurate approaches, and of course recent form, course history, putting, all those kind of things. 24 guys are new to this since 2017. Certainly something that'll be talked about. I'll be interested to kind of hear the industry thoughts and hear what Travis has to say about. It's pretty clear there's certain guys that just avoided this tournament, and it could have been. I'm really interested to listen to press conferences as much as I can, especially tonight. A lot of them happen on Tuesday, and I'll listen to them Tuesday nights. I assume, though, there's always that guy, right, that asks the same question to every single guy. I'm hoping there's someone there that asks, at least the ones that it's relative to, hey, you've only played here once in 7 years, or none in 7 years. Is there a reason for that? Are you only here because the elevated? Something to that extent, because there's a lot of them up there that just, Finau's twice since 2017. Scheffler, but he's newer, but he's twice in the last 3 years. So, but Rahm once since 2017. Cantley 0. Schauffele once. JT 0. A lot. I mean, so a ton of these guys. Now it could be simply, well, every year I've made my schedule. I've always taken this week off. Then I go play the players. Maybe they played Valspar, and then WGC. So maybe a lot of them would choose between Valspar and here. Most of them seem to pick Valspar, or whatever. They're players, the match play, and then most take off and go then the Masters, right? So maybe a lot of them didn't want to play here, the players, match play, before the Masters. So I don't know. I mean, obviously this course is hard. It can play tough. Maybe people just don't like it. I don't know the true answer. I don't think I'll be factoring it in, like, in and of itself. I'll, if I hear something to make me think that he's, they just don't like it. But I don't think, even those guys that I mentioned, that, Rahm once, but he got 17th. Shoffley, 24th. I think Spieth's only played it a handful of times, but, I think he had a top 25. So it's not like when they do come here, they don't necessarily do well. I just don't know how many of them wanted to come play, all the time. So I'm not really canceling anybody out for that. Scheffler, the first time he got here was a 15th. Sungjae, third and a third, his first 2 years, has never missed the cut. So Keith Mitchell, his first year, a 6th, then a 5th. So I think great golfers, especially ball strikers, can do well, whether they've been here or not, whether they've avoided it or not. We can get into the deep dive type stuff where we talk about certain type of grass. Maybe guys don't like chip putting around the Bermuda. That can all be, deep dive type stuff. But for now, it's something, but it's just a piece of the story to me. Salary ranges, we got 3 in the 10K, 8 in the 9K, 10 in the 8K, 36 in the 7K, and 63 in the 6K. So a little bit top up there when you only get 3, and Rahm's 900 more than Rory, 600 more than Scotty. Only 8 in the 9K, which if I remember right, at Genesis we had a lot more of that. A little more spread out there between 7 and 8K. So some options, different ways to build for sure. I think we'll get some pockets like we have, and I think a lot of them I think will be around that 8K range, because I think people will try to get as many 9K and up, because I think unlike what we have seen, again, only 120, there's some pretty decent upside type guys in the 6K range, low 7K range, where a double stud or a triple stud, meaning 3 9K type builds, are doable if you get comfortable with some of these guys down below. Be a fun week to build, I think, for sure. I'm really looking forward to it. Same format for me as always, Sweet 16. 3 guys I like, a bubble boy, fade of the week, sleeper of the week, some gut feel plays, and then my betting top 5 that pop, and 2 long shots provided by Price Picks and Underdog. I'll give you some one and done that I'm looking at, and then we will wrap it up for today. 9K and above, I'm going to start with Willie Z. Pretty easy for me, 9,400. Like him as a bet this week. Played here twice, a 10th and a 38th. In the 38th, he shot 7 over on round 4 last year. A little bit tougher conditions, stuff like that. But he can play in tough conditions. It was just, bad round 4. 4th at Genesis, we got a lot of leverage there because no one wanted to really jump on him. We did. I'll be interested to see how that rolls this week. Are people just completely convinced he's good and they roll with it? We're starting to have some thick rough here, things like that. Him, Xander to an extent, and Fitzpatrick to an extent. If they're teeing up and playing, I think you just got to take the chance and go. They've been playing. They hadn't stopped playing. They are playing. I think they're good to go. Could they tweak something and be out? Sure, that's just kind of a risk. Could we see flare up reports, stuff like that? Saw several posted in Slack last week on Billy Horschel. Been sick, this and that. I watched this presser. I was like, maybe he has, but he didn't seem, but he seemed fine, and started out hot last week for us, but certainly fizzled off a little bit. Still made the cut and all that, but it's a tough deal when you talk about injuries in golf, because there is no official. I know there's some Twitter people now, and they've been trying to, discuss that a little more, but because there's no official requirement of anybody, like an NFL type deal, inactive, all that kind of stuff. It's just, you take the information best you can and make your choices. Golf is already volatile enough that I love Willie Z this week. 9,400 is a great price. I'll be on him. Scheffler, 10-9. I'll go back to him. One waste last year, played well at Genesis last year, and then came here and won. One waste this year, played well at Genesis. Now he's back here. I think he can do well. I think the wind, the toughness, that kind of stuff is something he's used to and can do well in. Maybe even a slight lean over Rory when it gets too windy. But, Rory's just been tremendous here, right? And so it'll be interesting to see. At the end of the day, I think it gets pretty close between all three. Rory's course history here, is second to none. 13th, 10th, 5th, 6th, 1st, 4th. Scotty's only played it twice, but 15 and first, so he's no slouch himself. Rahm only played it once, 17th, right? Rahm's form coming in is second to none right now, a first and a third. But, when you battle the dollars, spending 900 or more, 600 or more versus how they've done here, all of them have done well. It'll be interesting to kind of see where we think industry goes, where people are talking up. I like Rory. I think because he's the cheapest and the history here probably winds up being the highest owned, but I think it's going to be closer than what most will think. Personally, out of the three, I think I go Scotty, then Rory, and then Rahm when I'm factoring everything in for this week specifically. Next for me, Finau. I know he hadn't played here much, twice. He got 28th in a miscut. Coming in great form. He's playing really, really well right now. He's second behind Rory for me in recent form rate. 5th in irons, 1st in bogey avoidance, 3rd in accurate approach, 15th in par 5 DK scoring. The price, 9,300. Love it. I know he hadn't played here much, but I don't mind playing him at all this week. And I think that 9K range ownership will be pretty spread out with all the options we have down there in general. Bubble boy for me, Rory, 10-6. Really because of ownership. I just don't see a scenario where anybody gets that far up on them. So I think it'll come down to who you're most comfortable with this week, how you think the conditions are going to impact everybody. Do you want to take a leverage? Do you fade all three of them up top and then just build almost super ultra balance or hybrid balance? You go 4 9K, maybe 3 9K, 2 8K. I don't know if that'll work, but and then drop down to the 6s. Something like that would be different, unique versus what some will try to. The guys going down the 6s are probably taking at least one of the guys in the 10K, if not, going Scotty, Rory, and then trying to make it fit, which, I don't hate that either. And so far we've seen these elevated events, the cream, has risen to the top. And so that'll be on people's minds as well. Rory fits fine. The only reason why he's bubble boy is does he kind of pull away given the pricing and everything on ownership and how things shake out overall. AK range, complete fade of Sung Jae last week. I'd say it worked to an extent. 42nd it isn't going to get you much when you're the highest priced, highest owned. But I'll go to him this week. I don't think we'll see the drop off like we have in the past. A guy quote unquote bust at that ownership. He's cheap enough, 8,900. Great history here. A third, a 21st, a 20th. Showed upside last week. Just a little bit. Greens were a little bit off. Irons a hair off. I certainly still think he can do well here. 4 straight top 21st or better with 2 top 3s. I don't mind going back to him, and I think he's surrounded by a pretty good amount of people that he could be the hot one in the 8K range that people go to. But I don't think anybody gets away too much in that 8K range that I don't mind going. Sung Jae, Cam Young, I'll go back there. Did all right for us at Genesis, 20th. Nothing great, but I know he's a little off. We can see that. Played well here last year, first time out, a 13th. I'm just going on. This is just a guy I play. I just like him when play any kind of event like this, especially where it's emphasis off the tee. He's 4th in the field in good drives for me, 10th in opportunities at 18 feet, 38th in par 5 DK scoring. I'll just go there. Think Southern Hills last year, Cam Young, Willie Z, those guys were all right there. Mito, we had him, we had all of them, and so with a strong chance to win a Millie Maker up until JT kind of stole it right there at the end. But I'll just go to him. I'm just going to trust that he can, maybe he's getting in rhythm. Who knows? He's not playing bad. He's just probably not as, where he was at one point, but he was almost won the Open, or not almost. He right there. He was top 5, right? But he was still alive at the PGA Championship. So shined well on these tough track type situations. I don't mind going back to Cam Young, 8,700. Keith Mitchell, I'm gonna keep riding this one. A little concerned that he could be the popular guy in the 8K range. He generally pops well. He was pretty popular. It may have been Waste where I didn't play him. I don't think we see anything like that, but he's actually gone a little bit the other way. A 6th, a 5th, a 43rd, and 61st, but he's always made the cut. Super strong, good drives. He's 2nd in the field. probably outside of the year where he won the Honda, his best form coming in, you know, a 4th, a 42nd, a 5th. And it'd be interesting to see if it's good or bad. This is the first year he's played here and not the Honda. So does that, you know, because you play the Honda, it's a grind no matter what year it is, you know, what's going on. So I know he loves the Honda. It was his first win, but does that week off, you know, and not grinding, a little bit fresher. He still plays well here. 8K, I think it's a really good play this week. I like Mitchell. My bubble boy is Fitzpatrick. I like everything about him. Very similar to Rory in the last 6 years. A 13th, a 2nd, a 9th, a 10th, a 9th. One missed cut in 2018, actually, ironically, the year that Rory won it. But probably the only thing would be, you know, what do we think about the injury, the neck? Is it causing him enough that he's not as sharp as he can be? And for this price, we need him to be, you know, that top 20, top 15 potential. Now, 5 out of 6 years, he's 13th or better with 4 top 10s. So it looks solid. And maybe we get low ownership because people just don't want to click it with Sung Jae $100 up, Cam $100 below, Day, who's probably going to be popular. I mean, so we could get low ownership. I don't mind that. Only thing I'll be listening for is we get any kind of presser with him and any kind of update injury-wise. That's the only reason I got him on the bubble boy. 7K range, I like Connors. 7,800 could certainly, when he gets popular, he seems to steam up pretty quick. I could see that this week. He's not coming in the greatest form. 50th and 61st, 2 made cuts, but nothing spectacular. Missed a cut his first 2 years here, and then a 3rd and an 11th. I like that. Continue to come back, has played well. His profile fits his place well. It just comes down to, can he make enough putts? The one thing I like about guys like him, Matsu, you know, those guys that are so strong tee to green, and the putting's their issue. I talked about this last week, I'll continue to talk about it this week as we get into it. When your mentality is, if I shoot even today, I'm gaining strokes on the field. 1 under, you know, 2 under, I'm going to be right there come Sunday. So that's a different mentality than, man, I got to make all these birdies or I'm in trouble. These guys aren't necessarily making bogeys all the time. He's 18th in the field in bogey avoidance. So they're making a lot of pars. They just aren't making necessarily a lot of birdies when it gets to that, you know, as far as the putting stuff. So I don't mind him at all. Probably just keep an eye on, does he get super talked up? There's so many options in the 7K range there. I really think it gets spread out among several of them. Fleetwood, another guy that could probably get talked up here. 7,500 for me. 10th, 26th, 3rd, miscut 10th, 20th in his 6 years here. He obviously likes this place. He's played it, you know, every year since 2017. Miscut at Waste, but then a 20th at Genesis. You like that. If he gets his irons going, he's 9th in stroke gains irons for me, 21st in bogey avoidance. Could like to see a little bit better on the par 5 DK scoring, but 13th in recent form, 19th in course fit, 15th in putting. A lot there for 7,500 that I certainly like. Adam Scott, 7,600. I think I played him every event he's played so far this season. I'll stick with it. Played here every other year since 2018. A 41st, a miscut, a 26th. This price, upside. He's coming in playing okay, but he's been close. He just had a couple almost like one bad round in a tournament. 65th at Genesis. I don't mind him at all this week. So, and he might be one of those guys that gets kind of low owned with some of the guys around there, Lowry, Fleetwood, people like that. Bubble boy for me is Hoagie. Hardly ever play him. You're going to get super strong iron play. We know that. Generally, it's because he gets steamed up quite a bit in a lot of the time, and I just don't want to go there. But he's played here 4 out of the last 5 years, 3 made cuts, a 26th, a 15th, a miscut, and a 32nd. 14th at Genesis, 48th at Pebble. He missed a cut at Waste though. Again, when you're looking, the one negative for him, he's 69th in the field in good drives, not about average, right? So not great, but not horrible. 13 in stroke gain iron play. One negative for me is 73rd in bogey avoidance, but seems to get around here pretty well. Again, $7,300. You make the cut. You got top 20, top 25 upside, which he's shown here. That's enough. We'll see the ownership side. Like, again, if he's like everybody's dropping to him at 7,300, probably don't want to go there. But other than that, I don't mind him at all on paper. 6K range, last several weeks, really been, just a few here or there that we've been, gluing in on and done well. But I think there's more this week. So it'll be interesting to see how the builds shake out if we get a big stars and scrub type setup. I like Ben Taylor. Played him last week. Got fifth. He's one that was in that my best lineup I had running. 58th at the Genesis. Limited stats, but 1 in accurate approach, 2 in bogey avoidance, 27th in good drives, a great putter. $6,500. There's just enough green signs there that I'll take some chances on him. Another Ben Griffin, definitely a guy I've been playing nonstop. It's 21st last week at the Honda. I like that. Similar type condition setup. Again, not as windy, but at least he played it. 8th in bogey avoidance, 29th in putting, 16th in irons. Enough there. $6,700. Yeah, I'll have some of that. Smalley, we've always talked about him over the last year. I like him in grinding conditions better than anything. I'll go back to him. Played here last year, 38th. Okay form coming in. Made the cut at Pebble, missed the cut at Genesis. Again, I think the format and the way that the course and stuff will set up suits him. And so at 6,700, give me a made cut, give me some hope on the weekend. We'll see what happens. I like Smalley a lot this week. And then Kitayama, I'll go back to him. Missed the cut at Genesis, but, had a chance at Pebble, came back, bounced back great at Waste at 20, got 23rd, missed the cut at Genesis, but still looks solid. And he's really, really strong off the tee, in the good drive category, accurate, can hit fairways, 23rd in opportunities, 47th in bogey avoidance, which isn't great, but still better than average. 42nd accurate approach. Putting's just middle. I'll probably deep dive on that a little bit to see, he hasn't played this course, but has he played in Florida and how has he done there in general? But at that price, I don't mind him at all as the bubble boy for sure. Fade of the week, probably Rahm. The only way that would, I'm not going to play Hovland, but I don't think Hovland will get talked up a lot. He rates out the lowest when I look at kind of the initial rankings. He's by far and away lower than the other, 10 guys, 12 guys there. But Rahm's, Hovland seems like a easy scapegoat, but he got second here last year. So maybe he does get talked up in that price range. He's my true fade, but if I'm leaning out of the top 3 and was going to cut one out, and I may play all 3, Rahm's the one that I would lean towards right now. We'll see how the draw comes out today with the tee times and all that. Does that factor in? But I wanted to mention that and certainly be around for final thoughts tomorrow. Sleeper of the week, I like Hoffman. I went back and forth on there's a few guys down there I like, and wasn't a guy that I would have thought would even be on my radar, but his finishes here, a 2nd, a 14th, a miscut, a 13th, and a 10th. So 4 out of 5 years made the cut. All 4 years finished top 14 or better. Missed the cut last week, but before that, a 48th at Pebble, a 14th at Waste, has flashed some, 7th in good drives, like 29th in par 5 DK scoring. With the history here and then showing some form, did well at Waste. 6,300, I don't mind that at all. So he's kind of my sleeper. I don't think he'll be talked up. I don't think we see him get over 5%, but definitely a guy I got my eye on. Some gut feel plays. I like Pendrith, 6,900. Davis Riley, 6,700. I think I'm sorry, 6,500 for Davis Riley. Is that right? Let me double check. There's 2 Davises here. 6,600. Yeah. I think I'll give Riley a chance this week. Showed a little bit last week. Had been kind of bad before that. Hoping that he found something last week at the Honda, 29th. I just like his upside in general. Patrick Rogers has a really good, steady history here as well. Which kind of surprised me because he's more of the West Coast kind of guy. But miscut, then a 7th, 46th, 24th, 57th, 38th. Again, $6,900. Make the cut. Give me that top 25 upside. I definitely don't mind that. Matsu, definitely a good betting number, 60 to 70 to 1, depending on where you're at. 6 straight made cuts here. Has not really done much with them. That'd probably be the one negative, $8,200. But the last 2 years he's finished inside the top 20, so that's strong. I would take it inside the top 20 at $8,200. And I think his ownership will be down some. Betting top 5 the pop of 2 long shots for me. Underdog, link in the description, prize pick, code is GUP, dollar for dollar match up to $100. I give the prize prize picks out every Wednesday. And then nightly, I post them with my bets, any bets update that we have. Underdog, they got the majors going. I'm starting seeing some people that's picking up steam. I think it will once we get past TPC next week as well. And you start heading towards the Masters, figuring out good strategies for those drafts. Good money up there. You can go check that out. My top 5 right now, Willie, 20, 25 to 1, depending on where you're looking. Cam Young, 35. Mitchell, 50. Matsu, 60. Fitzpatrick, 35. I like all those numbers. 2 long shots. Ben Griffin, 200 to 1. And Ben Taylor, both the Bens, 300 to 1. Those are probably top 20, top 40 type bets for me. But I don't mind either one of those for some long shots. My 5 for one and done right now, Willie, Young, Fitz, Finau, and Rory. May change that. Scheffler's right there with Rory. May move him in the top 5 tomorrow when I finalize it. But somewhere in that range, depending on who you use the first 2 big events, the Genesis and Waste. A lot of people use Rahm and Scheffler, so they're way up there. So if you're looking elsewhere, those are some of the guys I like. I still have both those guys available. Scheffler may be on that list as well, but I like Rory, and then Willie, all the other guys. So I'll finalize that on the final thoughts tomorrow. E9 tomorrow night with Kenny Kim. We'll deep dive into it. We'll talk weather, strategies, any of that kind of changes. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday. Looking forward to the week. It's going to be awesome. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.